I just want to get a coffee, okay?
Why is the camera in my face right now? Are you here partaking?
You walked
Right
up
now
to
you're
me.
in the red zone?
I'm scared.
You know how much he paid in taxes? One of the richest people in the world? Zero.
Of the fact that that window is still open, although it is absolutely narrowing.
We got some Ukraine updates for you. Kamala Harris has been sent to tackle the Russia-Ukraine issue. I'm sure that'll go well. Elizabeth Warren was on one of the talk shows complaining about Elon Musk not paying any taxes, even though he's paid the most taxes in the history of the United States of America this calendar year. And also some updates on the Ottawa protest. Looks like police have cleared out the last of the Ottawa protesters. Got some interesting facts to bring you up to date on what's going on there. Hope you had a great weekend. My name is Jobob. This is Daily Caller Live. Daily Caller Live starts right now.
2, 1.
Here we go!
That might be the only brown guy on earth named Jobob.
That is actually their name, Jobob.
Ooh, from a dingy bunker, completely cut off from the outside world. Nobody in, nobody out. My name is Jobob. This is Daily Caller Live. Thanks so much for tuning in on Monday. It is February 21st, the year of our Lord 2022. Let me make sure I got that right. Yeah, 21st. Cool. Got to bring you up to speed on a couple different things going on. Obviously, Ukraine and Russia is still kind of crazy over there. Elizabeth Warren said some funny stuff over the weekend. She's been continuing to say funny stuff. She's said funny stuff ever since we all found out that she wasn't actually a Native American, but there's that. I want to get to this first, though. Protesters, police clear out the last of the protesters in Ottawa over the weekend. Friday is when I think they were given the green light. Well, back it up. Tuesday-ish, Prime Minister, dictator, tyrant Trudeau gave the order that, well, Canada's under a state of emergency. We need to get everybody out of the capital. Threw a little hissy fit up there. Made President Xi, made dictator Xi of China proud. Made dictator Putin of Russia also proud. Trudeau doing his best impersonation of Fidel Castro, their close family friend up in Canada. And saying, no, you can't protest this. That's impossible. You can't do it. We hate you. And then they used the police force over the weekend to clear out the protesters. It was interesting. I'm not going to play any of these videos for you. Excuse me. I'm not going to play in these videos for you because I feel like there's, I don't know, it's not good. But if you want to find them, you can. In Canada over the weekend, the mounted police officers trampled a older disabled woman in a motor scooter. She is alive, contrary to counter reports that said that she had passed away, but she's still alive. But holy cow, they were using some severe force in Canada. I want to play this clip from the capital of Canada, Ottawa, and then talk about what's going on now that everybody's done and what Canadians are worried about and what the world should be worried about going forward with Justin Trudeau being able to do this to his citizens. Watch this clip. This is a clip of a lady. I believe it's a lady. I don't actually know. A person trying to get coffee in Ottawa over the weekend, and just watch the interaction they had with the police officer. Check this out.
I just want to get a coffee, okay?
Why is the camera in my face right now? Are you here partaking?
You walked
Right
up
now
to
you're
me.
in the red zone?
I'm scared. I want to go for a coffee down there.
Where,
Can I go
where's
for
your
a coffee?
residence, still being arrested right
Do you
now.
live in this?
You're
No, I
not
don't live
excluded
here,
from that.
but I'm
Where do you live?
Alberta.
Time for you to leave.
I can't even go down there for a coffee.
No,
Go grab your
you're
stuff
in the
and
red
leave.
zone right now. If you don't leave right now, you will be arrested. Do you understand me?
I can't go for a coffee.
Grab your stuff, because if we see you, we'll be patrolling all day. If we see you again, it'll be different.
Leave. I tell you. Take your camera and get out of here. Do you understand that?
I'm walking away.
Walk away. Your phone doesn't need to be in our face when you're walking away. Go.
Please have my phone.
Are you going to walk or are you going to get arrested?
I was
Go
walking
now.
away.
Get out of here.
Oh my goodness. Hope you can go to sleep at night.
Holy cow, Soviet Russia looks intense. Oh wait, that wasn't Soviet Russia, that was Canada this weekend. The way in which Trudeau is handling this is going to, I think, have some severe political repercussions, because none of this looks good. The police removed people by force over the weekend. Ottawa police attempted to clear out the remaining Freedom Convoy demonstrators on Sunday, ending a 24-day protest of the city center to protest the COVID-19 vaccine mandates. At least 2 people were arrested, and the police moved into the logistics camps and removed the last vehicles occupying the area. The truck convoys had caused a backup for weeks. A total of 191 protesters were arrested and 57 vehicles towed since police began forcibly removing people on Friday. 191 peaceful protesters arrested in Canada because, Canada's just the modern-day Venezuela, apparently. The Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, who is close personal friends with Fidel Castro, is taking a note out of the dictator's playbook and arrested 191 people and removed 57 vehicles from a peaceful protest in downtown Canada. Again, protesting a stupid rule. This is the main thing with all of this. The protests were dumb to begin with. Sorry, not the protests. The reason why people had to protest were dumb to begin with. If you recall, and a lot of people don't remember, you had to get a vaccine passport. Truckers specifically needed to show their vaccine card in order to cross the United States-Canada border, which would have done nothing in terms of effectiveness to stop the spread of COVID-19. But that's what's going on in Canada. Let me see. I'm not sure I want to play that kind of video again, but the attitude that has been taken from Canada has been really, really troubling to see, and we hope it doesn't spread anywhere else. Again, that person trying to get it. Here's the thing also. I'm sure the business that this person was going to get coffee at would have loved them to come get coffee at their business. If, in fact, that is what they were doing, I'm sure the business, the coffee shop there that has had truckers in their city for the last month, probably justifiably so, but I would imagine that business would have been like, please come and buy coffee from me. This is insane. So all of that, again, the police forcibly removing people out of the area. Officials are concerned with protesters. Many of them truckers will regroup outside the Capitol and come back, shutting down the city again. Do it. That would be so much fun. I think that would be hilarious. Go for it. The police chief said we're trying to keep tabs on those leaving and potentially massing to come back. Okay, there's that. On Sunday, Ottawa police in the business field should feel comfortable reopening with the following weeks-long demonstration. Bottom line is, it looks like the protesters for now have dissipated, and I don't think the rules have changed in Canada. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how Canadians respond in the coming weeks to, one, these stupid rules. Are they going to follow these stupid rules? And two, now having seen what Justin Trudeau is willing and capable of doing, are they going to revolt in any sort of bigger, meaningful way? Look, I don't think the way Justin Trudeau handled this is going to tamp things down. If anything, I think it's going to escalate the situation even further with what's going on all throughout Canada with the ridiculous mandate requirements and apparently how he's willing to crush peaceful protests. Again, all he really needed to do was say, yeah, that vaccine mandate was dumb. But instead of that, issued police force on peaceful protesters, essentially signifying that you can't protest things in Canada. I don't think this is going to turn out well. Speaking of things that aren't going to turn out well, this is, oh boy. If you're not watching, or if you're not watching this and you're just looking at the screen says Kamala sent to tackle the Ukraine issue. Bring you up to speed on what's going on in Ukraine. Kamala Harris is now involved, so things are only going to go up from here. Just kidding. This is from the New York Times. Just want to keep people up to date on what's going on. Russia did not attack over the weekend. Well, Russia didn't invade over the weekend. There's been shell shock around some of the outer provinces of the country of Ukraine. They decimated a kindergarten area, I think. I remember reading that. Pardon me if I'm misstating some facts there, but There's been some pretty there's been a lot of destruction in Ukraine as of late, but effectively tanks have not rolled on Kiev just yet, in case you're wondering about that. This is from the New York Times. These are the 5 things that they think you need to know. 6 things. Putin keeps us anxious as he considers whether to invade Ukraine. Putin's Security Council meets with the Kremlin, warns tensions are rising. Okay, so that's interesting. Belarus says Russian troops might not leave unless NATO pulls back from Eastern Europe. Russia has also put troops on the Belarusian-Ukrainian border, in case you didn't know that. Air France is the latest airline to limit flights to Ukraine, so private companies now are getting involved, thinking we probably shouldn't be here doing this. Ukrainians abroad rally support for friends at home. Satellite images show new phases of Russian military readiness. They use. I try to avoid doing this as much as possible. They use the term President Vladimir Putin, which they only use. Putin only uses the term president so that he could be like the West. Same thing with Xi in China. They're not presidents, they're dictators. We should all come to terms with that and recognize that. Dictator Putin kept an anxious world guessing on whether or not he plans to invade Ukraine, announcing Monday that he would consider recognizing the independence of 2 breakaway regions in Ukraine, while his former minister said he's willing to meet with American counterparts to talk this week in Geneva. So, over the weekend, if you missed this, President Biden and dictator Putin openly agreed in principle to talk about the Ukraine deal. I don't know that President Biden is the one who we want forefronting this process. But in principle, supposedly, the 2 leaders of the United States and Russia were willing to meet to discuss it. Again, Putin announced on Monday that he'd consider recognizing the independence of 2 breakaway provinces in Ukraine. Basically, instead of taking them over and annexing them into Russia, he said he would recognize their independence from Ukraine and they could be their own separate places and continue the shifting border of Ukraine and Russia constantly. He's trying to distance the gap between NATO countries and Moscow. I think I was watching somebody over the weekend that said that Moscow is only about 500 miles away from the Ukrainian border. This would make sense but this is probably why Putin is putting so much emphasis on Ukraine right now. That's kind of the boring nitty-gritty stuff. Russian state media issuing ominous drumbeats of unsubstantiated reports about aggression by Ukraine. So this is, I think, one of the big things that people need to pay attention to and need to watch and look at. Russian state media is saying that, well, there's a bunch of tensions going on in Ukraine, and the Ukrainians are fighting against the Russians. To the best of a lot of our knowledge, Richard Engel is there. I believe he's at NBC. Richard Engel is an American correspondent in Ukraine, saying that's not happening. So it would appear that Russia is issuing false flag, is probably partaking in a false flag operation to convince its citizens that Russians are being attacked, even though they're not, in order to justify going into Ukraine. I'm hoping you're following all of this because it's crazy. I don't know how much more we need to get into this right now because I want to get to what Kamala said regarding this. I'm going to read you what Kamala Harris said in a press conference. Then I want to play the actual clip. Sorry, I want to read it from my phone here. I'm going to see if I can read this Kamala Harris quote without screwing it up because the syntax is crazy and I'm not sure what she was getting at. Let me read you what Kamala Harris said before I play the clip. I'm going to try and read this again, straight without the syntax. Within the context, then, of the fact that that window is still opening, although it is absolutely narrowing, but within the context of a diplomatic path still being open. Okay, did you catch that? Did you follow that? I'm going to play the vice president saying the exact same thing. Check this out.
And within the context then of the fact that that window is still although it is absolutely narrowing, but within the context of a diplomatic path still being open, the deterrence effect, we believe, has merit.
Okay, I'm gonna try and get this again. My friend Jack Posobiec tweeted this, and I thought it was so much funnier in print. Within the context, then, of the fact that that window is still opening, although it is absolutely narrowing, but within the context of a diplomatic path still being open. Actual quote by the sitting Vice President of the United States. Yeah, so there's that. So we'll bring you up to date if anything else ends up happening. If you missed any part of that particular thing and you want to know what's going on, you can rewatch on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, anywhere where we're watching right now. But I want to move on to this. Holy cow, there's a bunch of stuff that we got to get to today that I don't have like big slides for, but it's kind of interesting. I thought this was funny. Native American picks fight with billionaire over his taxes. Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, said some stuff over the weekend that discounts a lot. And look, here's the thing. On this show, the only thing that I believe in, aside from my belief that the government is bad at doing things and therefore should do less things, is being fair. If you're not being fair about arguments, people are going to call you out on your nonsense, and you're going to take a step back in whatever it is that you're trying to argue. Senator Elizabeth Warren continues to do that with tax policy. She has a hilarious clip that I want to play for you going into talking about Elon Musk. But before I do that, I got to tell you one last time about becoming an investor in gold. Inflation is through the roof. You've seen this at the gas pump. You've seen this at the grocery store. You've seen this in property. Inflation is going nuts right now. You need to protect yourself. Ronald Reagan was the last person that had to deal with this. This is because inflation is at a 40-year high. And he said inflation is like a thief in the middle of the night that'll take everything you have and not even blink. And he was right. Inflation is a monster, and it'll steal your money any chance it gets. How can you protect yourself against inflation? Well, invest in gold. Buy gold, Sonny. That crazy guy who kept telling you to buy gold, the miner in the San Francisco area, he was right. You should buy gold because gold is the best way that you can hedge your bets against inflation. How do you invest in gold? Well, our friends at Birch Gold can help you do that. If you text JOBOB to 989898, that's Jobob to 989898. Our friends at Birch Gold will send you a free, no obligation, no risk packet to tell you everything you need to know about protecting your financial future, protecting your savings, and protecting your family's finances. Do it today. Text JOBOB to 989898. That's Jobob to 989898. And our friends at Birch Gold can help you out and protect yourself against the inflation monster. The government wants high inflation. Trust me, protect yourself today, friend to friend. Back to this. Back to Native American politician picks a fight with a billionaire over taxes. Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas here, gives some pretty interesting exchange on, what is this? What show is this? New Day? I'm not even sure. I found this on Twitter. But let me play this clip and then I'll get to what Elon said back and the exchange that they had. Check this out.
I also believe, however, that billionaires ought to be paying taxes, and it shouldn't simply be optional. You know, what we've now seen is both giant corporations and billionaires have enough tricks in the tax code, but part of what happens right now is that, for example, Elon Musk, 2018, we've actually seen his tax returns. You know how much he paid in taxes? One of the richest people in the world? Zero. And he's not the only one. Jeff Bezos, right? Another one of the richest people in the world. He pays less in taxes than a public school teacher or.
So we'll stop it right there. There's a little bit more of that left, but none of that's true. So there's that. None of what she said is true. Jeff Bezos does not pay less taxes than the average American school teacher. Maybe in his personal portfolio, he hasn't realized capital gains yet. So in that regard, I guess maybe you can make the argument there. But then you would have to discount and unfairly not include any of the payroll taxes, any of the job creating salaries that he pays, all of the things that benefit the economy way more than taxes. You would have to unfairly not include all of that stuff if you were to say that sort of thing. But Elizabeth Warren in there talking about Elon Musk, I retweeted that over the weekend and said, rather than Elon Musk paying more in taxes, it would be awesome if he created a tax to teach all of us to pay as little in taxes. But then Elon Musk responded to that silly exchange from Senator Warren, Senator Pocahontas. Okay, do you remember that? Does everybody remember when Elizabeth Warren, why you call her Pocahontas? Remember when she said, I am a Native American senator of the United States? Turns out she was not Native American at all. And then turns out none of the Native American tribes were like, the Native American tribes in the country that she claimed to be a part of were like, we have never heard of this woman. We do not know who she is. What are you talking about? Then she got one of those ancestry DNA things, and it showed that she was like 0.68 Native American. And then she came out and said, aha, I am a Native American. My grandma told me right. You're all wrong. That's why she's called Pocahontas. Sorry for that little diatribe there. Anyways, Elon Musk responded saying that we'll pay a visit next time I'm in DC just to say hi since we'll visit the IRX next time. The IRX. Take two. We won't air this on the actual live show. This is just a rehearsal. Elon Musk tweeted, we'll visit IRS next time I'm in DC just to say hi since I paid the most taxes ever in the history for an individual last year. Maybe I can have a cookie or something. I saw that when Tyler Boyer retweeted, you should show up with one of those big fancy checks and a mariachi band. That would be hilarious if Elon Musk showed up with an $11 billion big check, because that's what he paid in taxes in 2021, and a mariachi band. That would be hilarious. Again, that joke is credit to our friend Tyler Boyer over at TUP USA. Let me play this last part of this clip and see if we can talk about this a little bit more. Let's see what Senator Pocahontas has to say.
Firefighter. And they do this because they're only being taxed on income. They very cleverly make sure they have no official income. They just have all this stock that keeps building in value. They borrow against it. It's just not right. We need a system in America where everybody gets the benefits of being an American, but that means everyone pays a fair share to keep this country running.
All right, well,
okay, so yeah, that is not, she's, the problem that I have with this is the unfairness of the argument. Again, what she's saying, I guess, in theory, maybe can be technically, that can't even really be technically true. Like, I don't want to call her a liar. It's just completely ignoring all of the other components here, right? One, payroll tax is massive. If you've ever run a company, which Elizabeth Warren has not, she's been in academia and politics her entire life. If you ever run a company, you know that payroll tax, regardless of whether you as the business owner pays personal income tax, payroll tax is freaking massive. It is a huge component. And people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, the richest people in the world, who have thousands of employees, pay massive payroll taxes. I would imagine that Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, just in payroll taxes, pay more than the GDP of small countries. Elon Musk, again, paid $11 billion in taxes in 2021. Okay, that's more than the GDP of Lithuania. Also, on top of that, you're disincluding, unfairly arguing, you're just not including the fact that, hey, the government and all of us have decided that it's better to incentivize business than people paying taxes. That's the whole thing. You would rather have people have jobs and making money via salaries than on the government dole because those people instead pay taxes instead of salaries. That lessens your tax burden. If you're expensing salaries of employees, the government has decided, and all of us have decided, that's better than paying people to not have jobs. Shocker, but that's what you're arguing against, Miss Warren. We've incentivized paying or growing businesses over paying taxes. This is not news. Maybe it is to her, but here's the thing. I know that Elizabeth Warren isn't so dumb that she doesn't know that. And that's which makes it worse. What she's doing is intentionally leaving out 90% of this conversation just so that she can say, well, Jeff Bezos didn't pay capital gains tax on the money that he hasn't gained yet from his stock. So there's that. I want to get to some headlines here. Actually, just one big headline. This is going to be interesting. So Truth Social launched yesterday. Truth Social is the Donald Trump founded platform, social media platform. I'm pulling it up on my phone right now. I don't know if you've logged into this yet. I'm going to try and so basically they had a lot of problems last night. A bunch of people were trying to log in. I'm doing it right now on my phone, trying to set up an account. Let me put in my email really quick. They had a bunch of problems last night. Everybody was talking about how difficult it was to actually sign on. I am not convinced entirely that this is not on purpose. In the world of publicity and media attention, the best thing that the Truth social media platform could have done is purposely had some problems at the beginning. Because nowadays, today, everybody is talking about Truth Social. It's on MSNBC, it's on CNN. Now, they would have completely ignored it if everything was working perfectly. Well, how do you get people in media outlets that hate you to talk about your product? Have problems with it. Then MSNBC and CNN get to say, well, look at how terrible this is. And in this case, bad publicity is still publicity. You can't buy the amount of publicity that Truth Social has gotten because the platform wasn't working. Now, am I confident in totally 100% that they did it on purpose? No, not at all. But in the same way that Elon Musk broke windows in his Tesla trucks, now everybody knows about the Cybertruck. If you're not familiar with that reference, the Cybertruck, Elon Musk's big electric truck thing, was put out into the world, and during the demonstration, they said, these windows are bulletproof, and then threw rocks at the windows, and the windows broke. While the Cybertruck event was big in and of itself, it grew to massive proportions, and now everybody knows about the Cybertruck. In the same way, it could be argued, if it was on purpose, that Truth Social did the same thing. There's a couple things to consider here. There's three possibilities. One, it just didn't work, and the servers just crashed because of the overwhelming population. Two, it is a phenomenal publicity stunt and a public relations maneuver to get everybody talking about it and maybe giving up a tiny bit of integrity, but the people who would have gone on there already would have already gone on there. That's not an issue. So those two things, or they were getting hacked. I don't think it's the first one. I don't think that they spent all this time and all this money and all this clout to have a product that just doesn't work. I think that's the most unlikely. So it could be one of two things. One, they're just getting hacked. Or two, they decided, hey, how do we get MSNBC and the Morning Joe Show and Don Lemon and NBC News and ABC Morning, Good Day LA, all of these stations to talk about our product? Make it not work for a couple hours. That's what I would do. Again, I don't actually know if this is legit, but I would. If I were them and I wanted publicity and I wanted everybody in the country to know about this product, I would shut down the servers for like an hour and make sure that all of the media channels were talking about it the next morning. You can't buy that kind of publicity. Earned ad time, earned air time, the cost would be astronomical. Hundreds of millions of dollars they would have had to spend. But no, they got it for free because they shut down the servers for a couple hours. Maybe. I don't know. Not entirely sure that that's happening, but that's what I would do as a marketing person. I got to tell you one more time about becoming an investor in gold. You've seen inflation through the roof. Inflation is going nuts around the country. Gas prices are up. Food prices are up. The cost of meat is through the roof. Milk is through the roof. Inflation is going bananas in the United States today. And you need to stop it. You need to protect yourself because inflation is essentially stealing your savings. It's up 7.5% year over year, 40-year high. How do you stop inflation? Well, the best way you can attempt to do that is through gold. And our friends at Birch Gold can tell you how to do that. If you text JOBOB to 989898, that's Jobob to 989898. Our friends at Birch Gold will send you a no-risk, no-obligation, no-nothing packet that tells you everything you need to know about taking your existing 401k or your existing IRA and rolling it into a gold-backed IRA to protect yourself against inflation. Protect yourself against the government sabotaging the value of the U.S. dollar. The government craves a weak dollar to lessen their debt burden, but more on that later. But you need to protect yourself against inflation. The best way to do that is gold. Text JOBOB to 989898. That's Jobob to 989898. And our friends at Birch Gold can help you protect your savings and protect your family's financial future. Do it today. Friend to a friend. Invest in gold. That's going to do it for us today. We appreciate you sticking around, sticking with us. A lot of the craziness happening around the world, we're going to continue to stay on top of over the rest of the week. We might be earlier tomorrow morning due to a couple different travel things that are going on. So we may be here an hour early-ish, depending on if you watch this live every single day, which I appreciate those of you who do. If you can't get it, go grab the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, or listen again on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, anywhere where you watch videos. If you haven't already, give me a follow on any of the social media platforms. I know you have your phone sitting right here. Follow me on Instagram. I'm hilarious. I posted a hilarious reel this morning about Canada, South Park reference. A lot of you people out there like South Park. It's a funny show. So give me a follow on social media. Send me some things that are going on in your neck of the woods, if things are going on in your neck of the woods. Other than that, we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Geez, we're into the hundreds of these episodes. I think this is episode like 104. So appreciate all of y'all sticking with me for all this time. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless America.